we found out that prior to Gaddafi's death, not only did he give this UN speech that probably caused a lot of countries in power to be concerned and frustrated and kind of scared that such a challenging message to Western countries was getting out, but the fact that he had a huge oil economy there in the country, and he wanted to start requiring countries to pay in gold for the oil in Libya, which once Jordan and I heard that, it all started to click because as you had researched, the oil, the gold standard is something that we no longer have with our currency.
Yeah, FDR, I don't know if the word abolish fits with this, but we moved away from the gold standard in 1933. And so I would assume that we were probably one of the first major countries to do that. I don't know if we were the first, but back in 1971, there was this whole resurfacing of questioning the gold standard and contemplating whether we needed to reinstitute it again because we were seeing a rise in inflation. And I think everyone was confused. Why are we seeing this inflation? And so President Nixon took that as an opportunity to sort of create this campaign and try to influence other countries to like globally move away from
so that we
having
all could
gold-backed currency
on the same page.
Exactly.
And we wouldn't be the only ones to fall.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if something were to happen, like say a small country figuring out how to gyp the system by requiring gold so that they could obtain more gold, well then they wouldn't even be able to do that because no other country is valuing gold anymore.
Yeah.
So, it's really interesting. And now we've just learned through some research that no countries currently are backed by gold.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I don't know if that'll change, but yeah, I think that whole situation in the 1970s changed a lot. And
then officially ended in 73, right?
In 73, yeah.
Okay.
Within 2 years, we totally got rid of it.
Yeah. So you could see why like the US and by extension NATO was really upset when they heard that Gaddafi wanted us to have to pay with gold instead of the US dollar. And basically like we realized that what would happen is that basically like the US dollar would tank, and this kind of exposed Western countries and also the euro and other places that weren't backed by the gold standard that really our currency is kind of like a false sense. Like
it's empty.
It's empty. And it showed our weak point.
It's a fiat currency. It's just printed. It isn't backed by a material good or elemental good. And so that's why inflation can never be controlled, because there's no set amount that it's connected to. It's just sort of infinite. Like you can print more, If money is lost, you can print more.
Yeah.
And so that's why there's no confines.
Yeah. And so shortly after this was when the no-fly zone over Libya was approved by the UN. And then the USA and NATO quickly went beyond its mandate. And that was when you started having those jets, kind of the air fighting going on. And then shortly after that,
the convoy, right?
Yeah, something like that. And then you started having the rebel forces in Libya kind of gain traction, which some people have been kind of suspicious. Okay, where do those rebel forces get funding? And those were the forces that ultimately captured Gaddafi and kind of murdered him.
Yeah, brutally murdered him.
Yeah.